Hello, and thanks for joining us on Movie Night Memories. You Must Remember This, a podcast that focuses on movies and our favorite memories of them. Each week we discuss the films that are celebrating an anniversary from when they came out in theaters. My name is Sword Alexander, and I'm joined by the inspiration of this podcast, my mom, Tracey.
Good evening.
This week we're talking about movies released between July 27th and August 2nd. We have Deliverance, National Lampoon's Animal House, Night Shift, National Lampoon's Vacation, Cocktail, Doc Hollywood, and Crazy Stupid Love. This week we decided to see Deliverance, Animal House, Night Shift, Cocktail, and Crazy Stupid Love to get a fresh look and discuss them in more detail. But let's talk about the other films first.
First up is National Lampoon's Vacation, released July 29th, 1983, celebrating a 42nd anniversary. The Griswold family doesn't realize what they're in for after Patriarch Clark buys a truckster and takes his family on a cross-country trip to Wally World. That remembrance of Sparky.
Yes, Sparky. So, I've seen this movie over a decade ago. It's one of the best comedies of all time. You saw this movie in theaters, correct?
Yes.
So, did you see it with family or with friends this time?
Probably family and friends.
So it was like a kind of a big party to kind of go see this thing.
Yes.
So what was a moment when you saw it in theaters that you really remember that people went crazy for? Whether it be, shock or humor or anything.
I think everybody was laughing from the time it started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Everybody was laughing from the moment the movie started, actually, because Chevy Chase was so funny. The whole family was funny. They loved the aunt. They loved
that aunt who was from Dennis Quaid's cousin Eddie's his family, and they were taking care of her. Edna.
They went, and when she died, that was shocking at the time in the theater. It was shocking, and they were fighting over who,
I feel like that was a big moment where you heard a lot of people probably gasping in the theater.
And then the part about the dog, and the dog was being dragged. Oh my
God. That was the worst part of that movie.
And the shocking about when they went and saw the cousins. Okay, when they went and saw the cousins, and it was shocking about Daddy taught me how to French kiss.
Don't spoil all the jokes for these people. Come on.
There's just so much stuff.
No, it's awful. It's terrible.
It was shocking. It really was shocking.
My next question was probably gonna be along the lines of what did this movie really capture the road trip aesthetic well? So I'd say pretty much it didn't.
Chrissy Brinkley in it was so good, and him crazy about her, and the wife not knowing. It just everybody, and they want to go see it again. Okay, and you want to take your friends. You want to see their reaction. It was one of those movies.
Awesome.
And so it was one of those films that you just had to see it again.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Just to see the reaction of your friends. You'd have to see it again with another brother or another sister, or you just had to go see it again with another friend because you had to see. And you wanted to get that feeling again. Yes,
and you want to get their reactions too.
I can just thinking about it, I'm laughing. And then one of our favorite lines is when the son touches his shoulder and says
Clark's shoulder because he's having a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, and he says, "Do you want an aspirin? Don't touch." We've been there. We've been on these road trips with our parents, and you're about to have a nervous breakdown, and you're like, "Don't touch." We're gonna have such a great time at Wally World, or something.
We're gonna have the happiest time. Really? I'm not even finished with the line that you're dying right now.
Oh.
I feel like you're recapturing properly how you felt when you first watched this movie.
Oh yeah. Every time I see it, it's just hilarious. It's one of my favorite. And then John Candy is the security guard that they put through a lot.
Unexpected cameo.
Yeah.
And one that's definitely appreciated because you see his reaction.
I think it's the first time I ever saw John Candy.
It might be. I mean, he was only in it for 82 and etc.
So it was hilarious. So it's one of my favorite films of all time. It really is.
It is really one of the best comedies of all time. You can't really, it's still timeless. You can still laugh at all the jokes and everything, and you know, it's National Lampoons. They get away with everything.
How Chevy Chase makes it. He's so good at like lying instantly when he says, "I own all these hotels," and he's telling us he's making up crap.
He's a real shyster, and he does a good job of selling it too.
I own all these hotels.
It's that confidence. It's that confidence of like, I can get away with this. Next up is Doc Hollywood, released August 2nd, 1991, celebrating a 34th anniversary. A young doctor driving to California finds himself stranded in a South Carolina small town, succumbing to the Southern charm after finding the only physician is about to retire. So this movie stars Michael J. Fox. This was like one of his big movies. This was after Back to the Future, so he was already pretty famous by this point too as a film star. But this is something I would have imagined him to be also like really good in before Back to the Future, because it was right up his alley. So do you remember when the movie came out?
Yeah, yes. In fact, we knew before the movie came out because it was filmed near Gainesville and Micanopy, which is a small town outside of Gainesville, and McIntosh. And it was a big hoopla about it. And after it was filmed there, all these restaurants downtown and the surrounding area had pictures of Michael J. Fox that he signed these pictures, and they were everywhere around Gainesville. But when he was there, it was during the Gainesville murders. Mm. And so it was really scary. I'm sure he was kind of freaked out.
What do you mean Gainesville murders? What?
So he probably was freaked out about the situation.
He might have been. Definitely possible.
Oh, it was a terrible situation going on.
But this movie, we saw it not too long ago. I think we saw it during the pandemic, probably.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. I thought it was great.
Woody Harrelson's in it.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson's in it, too.
He's great in it. Bridget Fonda's in it.
It's got a real Southern charm to it. It really does sell the Southern charm aspect to it. It makes you... It kind of makes fun of small town politics and stuff, but at the same time it does it in a very, very respectful sense of the word.
And it really shows those areas of Micanopy and McIntosh.
It does.
Beautifully done.
So you could say, in a way, it's the precursor to the Hallmark movies of like the city person goes to the country town, back to the hometown situation. But it's a really great movie. I definitely recommend seeing it if anybody hasn't had a chance to see it yet.
It's a sweet movie. It's
very nice. It's a very good, comfort movie. You can just sit down, have dinner with your family, and have a good time watching it too. But speaking of movies that are the exact opposite of that, we're going to talk about Deliverance. This was released July 30th, 1972. It was directed by John Boorman, who also directed Exorcist II, The Heretic, and it was written by James Dickey. A group of men from the city decide to take a camping trip in Georgia and find themselves in a horrific situation, causing them to adapt quickly to the dangerous environment. From here on out, for all the movies that we've watched, we're going to go full spoilers, so...
It's really a canoe trip.
So, yes. So if anybody hasn't seen Deliverance and really doesn't want to be spoiled, stop now and go watch this movie. The other ones, for that matter, too, includes Night Shift, Animal House, Cocktail, and Crazy Stupid Love. But we really go into spoilers with Deliverance. I just want to warn you guys right now.
I don't know if we need to tell them everything.
No, but I do want to talk about how crazy it gets, a little, in its own way.
Well, I saw this movie when I was really young.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw a really big edited version of the movie. I didn't see the full version that we saw, and it was kind of shocking for me to see it with you. It was really, really more violent than I had anticipated.
And you said you saw it on TV, right? So they probably edited out some of this more intense.
I saw it when I was 17 or 18, maybe 16. I can't remember, but I remember they would talk about this film when I was little, and they'd always whisper about it. They'd always whisper about it, and I say, I'd ask questions like, what's this about? And they say, it's a canoe trip, but it's a violent canoe trip. You don't want to ever see it. You don't want to ever see that movie. And I always wanted to see it, so I made sure I saw it. but when I saw it, I think it was even more edited when I was older. So when I saw it with you, it was even a lot more violent than the one I saw.
Yeah, this is my first experience watching this. I think I may have heard of it in passing, but it never occurred to me about what it really was about and everything until this was happening in the first place. Now, this movie stars Jon Voight, Burt Reynolds, Ned Beatty, and Ronnie Cox. Obviously, the other two names are a little bit more well-known, to say the least. And funny, because we talked about Midnight Cowboy a few weeks ago, and if you asked me what was a better Jon Voight movie that really showed his talents, I think we could disagree on this one, because I think that in Deliverance he did a better job of portraying his acting talents than in Midnight Cowboy.
Well, he's older in this one.
He is. It's a few years older.
Yeah, he's a few years older, and he got more experience under his belt. And it's a different character. Mm-hmm. It's a totally different character. So, but I think that Burt Reynolds was incredible in this movie.
Yeah, but it's also this is Burt Reynolds, and nothing's too special from Burt Reynolds here than like in other films. I liked him more in Smoking the Bandit, but he's great in this. He really does show off the man who, even though he works in the city, he's very much in tune with the wild kind of thing, and he wants to be a wild man, and he really acts it too. I like that.
I wouldn't say wild man. He's tough.
Yeah,
he's a tough guy.
But he also he ends up emasculating at least one of the other men because he gets annoyed with his attitude and stuff. But the funny thing is that he's absolutely right. Burt Reynolds' character is absolutely right. It's like, you don't know these woods. These are dangerous woods. You got to be careful. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yes, he's the leader. He's obviously the leader.
Yes, and they should be grateful that he's the leader in this because he was able to get them dinner and everything in between. And it's kind of like it's also kind of like Whitewater Summer, which we just saw, except it's more adult, to say the least.
Very adult.
You know what? We probably shouldn't get into more of the adult situations, but it does get really intense. It's
an intense film.
It's very hard to watch, and once you get the worst parts done, you got to see how it ends. You get because we at halfway point, you asked me do you want to keep watching this? I said I gotta know what happens. I mean, I gotta see the ending at this point. I'm too invested now. I can't end on it. No, I can't just read on Wikipedia how it ends. I have to see this through.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad I did. It was very well done. I really enjoyed it quite a lot. It's one of those movies that it's so good I never want to see it again. Because
it's very intense.
It is. And there's some parts that are kind of stupid about it that just no, this wouldn't happen. This wouldn't happen either. And there was a lot of moments where things definitely wouldn't happen the way it did. But I embraced the entire situation. I'm very critical about stuff like this, but
it was ahead of its time. I feel
absolutely. This is to me, this is an incredibly influential action thriller film, very much inspired future action movies that take place in the woods and films that are about survival. I definitely see the influence that this movie may have brought to these other films in the future. So, do you regret seeing it now that you've seen the non-head?
No. I don't regret seeing it, but it was a lot more violent than I remembered, so I don't think I saw the full version. I think it was edited. And
it had a budget of $2 million, so it's pretty easy to make when it comes to the financial aspect of it, which was probably the best decision they could make with it. But it would have been very difficult to film in general during that time, because it all takes place in the woods, all takes place in the outside. But it had a box office of $46 million, so it destroyed the box office revenue, which it absolutely deserved it too.
And I think that they used advanced technology at the time to be able to film them going downriver.
Mm-hmm. I can believe that.
I think that they used, it was hard camera work to show them paddling downriver like that.
Being on that crew must have been intense.
Been hard to do.
What would you give it out of 5 stars?
I think I'd give it a 4.
I'd also give it a 4. I think there's some problems with it, but it did a really great job executing and doing it. It did well what even other 70s movies struggle with, which was keep the pace. It kept a great pace. So, let's move on to National Lampoon's Animal House, released July 28th, 1976. It's directed by John Landis, who did Coming to America. It was written by Harold Ramis, Doug Kenny, and Chris Miller. All of them are National Lampoon's writers, especially Harold Ramis, who's known for many things, including Ghostbusters as well. And Doug Kenny was one of the founders of the National Lampoon's magazine. This was the first film that National Lampoon's ever did. And it's a fraternity free-for-all between the Delta and Alpha pledges as they fight for dominance, freedom, and debauchery in this classic college comedy based around the year 1962.
It's a film that I love, and I couldn't wait for, because John Belushi was going to be the first film he appeared in after getting famous on Saturday Night Live. And my friend Linda Gansel and her family, the Gansels, had just moved to Eugene, Oregon. And she was writing me and saying, they're filming Animal House where we live. And I said, no, and we couldn't afford to call each other, but we would write as pen pals. And I missed her tremendously, because her and I loved Monty Python and we loved Saturday Night Live. And she would write me across, country about them filming this movie. And I was in shock. And she told me that she saw John Belushi and saw all these other important actors filming this film. So when it came out, I was so going to go see this movie, even though I was underage to see it. And the version we saw recently was it was
like kind of they called it the secret probation edition. But in reality, it's just like kind of the unrated version of it, which I don't really see any parts that are super. I mean,
there's stuff in there that I never saw before.
So, I mean, maybe I'm just, desensitized to sort of.
There was stuff in there that I never saw before.
I could see why. But there were some great moments in this movie. I've never seen this one before. I've heard all these great, crazy things about it too. And I should have seen it during college, but then again, I probably shouldn't have seen it during college, because then it could steer my thoughts on what college is going to be like going into it.
Well, it's fun, and
it's a lot of fun. It's a good old fashioned fun raunchy comedy. It's it's what American
You were
Pie.
laughing nonstop practically in this film. I watched you.
There were several, like halfway through, I definitely started laughing more.
No, even the beginning about the horse.
That was.
You loved it about the horse.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty funny. That was great. So, the idea is that they kidnap this horse to prank the leader of the Alpha chapter, and then they
You don't have to tell them.
Okay, but it's really funny.
They
you gotta
just do
see
these great pranks. They do these great pranks.
It's the way I don't. It's really John Belushi won the show, because his facial expressions were killing me every time.
And he did steal the show. He really did. Everybody talked about John Belushi, and he was a sub character in it. Mm-hmm. And he and they said they put him more and more in it as they were filming, because he was so good when they would check at the dailies, the dailies they call it when they're filming.
Uh-huh.
They kept putting him more and more in it because he was so funny.
One of my favorite parts of this movie is just such a small thing, is when they're clearing out the Delta house, and then one of the movers accidentally drops a case of beer all over the sidewalk.
It was not beer. It was liquor.
It was liquor?
It was hard liquor. It was glass hard liquor.
Oh, it looked like beer to me.
No, it was a box of hard liquor.
But they didn't really show the box that much, so I couldn't tell.
It was a box of hard liquor.
And John Belushi screams like he just watched Kennedy get assassinated. It was so funny.
It was his hard liquor.
It was just pure horror and trauma on his face, and he screamed bloody murder. It was hilarious.
And then the other guy said, "They tore down the bar! They tore down the bar!
Oh my god!
They took out our bar!"
Oh my god!
So they were taking out everything.
And then
they brought out a cow.
Yeah, they took out. There's a bull that was living in.
No, it was not a bull. It was a cow.
It was an actual cow.
It was a cow.
It was a cow from the act. They just had a cow in the fraternity, the frat house.
Don't want to know. Don't want to know.
Yeah. Don't have a cow, man. So that's exactly what the idea was. It's good old fashioned. You cannot criticize a movie like this. It's not meant to be criticized. It's just funny.
It's just fun.
It's just fun, simple, funny. Oh, what my other favorite part was? I'm not going to spoil it that much, but when John Belushi looks at the camera, I know that was impromptu.
He was a peeping Tom.
Yeah, he was being a peeping Tom, and he just turns around slowly and looks at the camera, and I thought, that is impromptu. There's no way that was part of the gag. That's the funniest. Only John Belushi would have thought of that. Oh my god, they're so funny. Absolute killer. And I noticed that when he gets caught, he doesn't get caught, but when he falls off the ladder goes back. It's like a 2-story drop. he falls and lands onto the grass, so it looks like he lands back first on, he lands on his back first. But then I noticed that the patch of grass that he lands on, it levitates.
It was a mattress.
Yeah, it was a mattress underneath it because he landed so hard, the ground pushed up in reaction to it. Yeah. It was cute. Like, obviously, they had to do that. I'm glad they didn't make it look like he actually got hit with grass. That would have been horrible. He would have died. But man.
So you were saying the budget was $3 million.
Yeah, and then it made $146 million in the box office. I'm guessing that's also maybe with some rentals too. That's usually what some of these movies, some of these pages, they combine the box office.
But can you imagine, numbers. Because it was called Animal House and it's about fraternities, every fraternity.
Oh, absolutely.
Every college, every fraternity, every sorority, everybody went to see this.
Oh,
it was a cult.
No doubt. I'm sure that was extremely popular. What would you, at the end of the day, what would you give out of 5 stars after seeing it from so long ago?
5. Because it's got so many memories and so much that it's a film that, because the Gansels were there, I was writing about it coming out. It's John Belushi, who I loved and adored. Early on, when I was just a little kid, I loved him. I mean, it's important.
I give it a 4. That's a rating I don't like. It's hard for me to rate this movie, but the jokes really did land. It's very funny. It kept you going to the very end.
Oh,
so I give it a 4.
It's just,
what's my only criticism? It could have been funnier. That's honestly the best I can do with it. I mean, it could have been funnier, and I give it a 4 out of 5.
I have to give it a 5 because there's too much sentimentality.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. So next up is Night Shift, released July 30th, 1982. It was directed by Ron Howard and written by Lowell Gans and Babalu Mandel, who co-wrote the film Parenthood. Between a stressed-out fiancé and a dead-end job, Chuck finds himself down on his luck until a co-worker, Billy Blaze, has a crazy idea as they spend their evenings working the night shift at New York City's morgue.
Okay, this is the first time I ever saw Michael Keaton.
You saw it in theaters.
I saw it in theaters, and I went to see Henry Winkler, who I used to have the biggest crush on as a little girl on the Fonz.
But this needs to be reminded that this was also Michael Keaton's first film, so obviously it was the first time you'd seen him as well, in general.
Yeah, it's the first time I ever saw Michael Keaton, and I fell in love with him. I thought, oh my God, this guy's gonna be so great. He's gonna be a famous actor. He's gonna explode his career. It's gonna be fantastic. And I went and saw it with my ex-fiancé, boyfriend, whatever, and he was jealous. And I thought Shelley Long was incredible, and I thought Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton had great chemistry, and I fell in love with this movie. I thought it was so funny, and I loved it then, and I still love it.
This was my first time seeing it, so it was nice to have a fresh set of eyes to be able to really examine this movie, too. I've never heard this movie before. You mentioned it when we were going over our
went
movies.
crazy, didn't I?
You said, we got to see Night Shift. We got to see Night Shift. I'm like, okay, let's see Night Shift. And just last week we saw Mr. Mom, so I thought, well, we just saw a Michael Keaton movie, but, we can see this one, too.
I loved this movie. I loved it then, I love it now, and
I love Ron Howard as a director, and he's got some flops, but, man, I really do like his directing, and to me, this really shows his...
he has few flops.
He has a few flops, yes.
He has very few.
Yeah,
very few
That's why
flops.
I said few, because he has a few flops. But he's one of my favorite directors. He's got some excellent, excellent films on his belt. And I've definitely found this movie where I truly saw Ron Howard at his greenest. Where I see there's a decent amount of technical problems and editing issues that I'm kind of surprised that they let get away with. But, you got to give credit where it's due, where it's like he's a young buck director. He's trying to make a name for himself. He's got these big actors to worry about, too. I get it. I do. But this movie was a sleeper for me. This was a really, really good movie. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. And Michael Keaton really does steal the show. I noticed that when Siskel and Ebert did their review, they were pretty critical of it. Gene Siskel, he criticized the film pretty heavily, saying that it was very bland and forgettable. But... he praised Michael Keaton. He said that Michael Keaton has a very bright future ahead of him. And he says this a couple years, before he ends up becoming Batman, and his career does really take off. Gene Siskel really did have that vision for him.
Me too.
And it really shines. Yes, you did too. And it really does. It's true. Michael Keaton really does shine in this. Roger Ebert, he did agree, and he also added that the jokes and the premise in general just wasn't that funny.
Oh my God, I was laughing the whole time practically.
See, in a way, and this is I talked to you about this too after the movie was over. I agree with the idea that the premise isn't funny because this movie would not have worked without... This was like lightning in a bottle when it comes to production, putting everything together. The script was not good. It's not really that funny of a script. The reason why it's funny and it works is because of Henry Winkler, Shelley Long, Michael Keaton, and Ron Howard. The only reason this works is because Ron Howard knew how to work with the script and make it really funny and engaging, and Michael Keaton, all the actors, they really knew how to make it shine. It should not have worked, and it worked really well. I'm very surprised that it worked as well as it did, and I give a lot of kudos.
And I think that some of the other sub-actors that were in it, like Henry Winkler's fiancée, you can't stand her, and you're not supposed to like her at all.
Yeah.
And her family.
She's miserable.
She's a horrible person, and so is her family.
And so is Henry Winkler's his mother in the movie too. She's awful.
Yeah, and you're supposed to not. But see, that's great acting. Mm-hmm. That's great acting.
Yep, it's great acting. I found those people insufferable. I couldn't stand Henry Winkler for a while. That's how good he was in this too. And I really like that both, Henry Winkler's character, Chuck and Billy, Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton, they both need to get something from each other, and they did a great job of showcasing that over and over and over again. So this movie had a budget of $8.1 million. So it was decent, especially for the 80s. It was pretty decent.
But they didn't market this movie.
No, because
it was not marketed.
It did $21 million in the box office.
You know why I went to see this movie?
Why?
Was to see Henry Winkler. Because I had a crush on the Fonz when I was a little girl.
And then you saw a completely different version of the Fonz.
Well, I knew it was going to be completely different. I didn't think I was going to go see the Fonz. I knew Henry Winkler was in. I liked Henry Winkler as a person.
Hey, I'm walking here.
No, and my ex-boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, we'll go see it, And I said, I want to see it. And Shelley Long was in it, and I thought
she was great. I was really impressed with her.
Yes, she was so good in it.
I've always seen her in okay roles, but this is where she really did a wonderful job. And Michael Keaton, though, he really does steal the show. I mean, the way he comes across, he takes over the scene. He takes advantage of it. And I said this to you after the movie was over, too. In a way, I believe this movie was a way for Tim Burton to see an impromptu audition for Beetlejuice. Because the way Keaton acts...
He's got characters.
He's
got characteristics of Beetlejuice.
It's very Beetlejuice-esque. And I'm thinking to myself, there's a very distinct possibility that Tim Burton saw this movie and said, I like him. I have an idea for him. And it led to Beetlejuice. There's no way there wasn't. The similarities are very
I know,
much
and
there.
the way he moves around.
If, for some reason...
He almost acts like an ADHD kid.
Oh, absolutely. He does act like an ADHD kid. So who grew up... He's got all these crazy ideas.
He can't sit still.
If somebody revealed to me, or if Tim Burton revealed that this movie was secretly a prequel to Beetlejuice, I would have believed it for sure because it's just clear. It's clear cut. He does, and it's really in a great way. It showcases Michael Keaton's excellent acting, and in general too. I love this movie. I thought it was a really great job.
And don't forget the directing brings out this movie.
Oh, that's why I mentioned that. This movie would not have worked without Ron Howard putting it together. He really, to me, he saved this movie. The script was not... This was a D-level script. He made it an A tier, in my opinion.
That's all I'm saying is that... And see, Henry Winkler and Ron Howard worked together for years on Happy Days. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So I'd give this movie a 4. Actually, I would give it a 4.5. Because I really do think that these moments really do shine. It's a movie I wouldn't mind seeing again and again.
And what did I tell you? What did I tell you when I give it?
5?
5. Yeah. I said 5.
It's great. It really works. And I'm glad we had a chance to see it. I'm glad I had a chance to see it for the first time.
There's a part that he goes, I deserve to be spit on. And he starts spitting on himself. And then somebody says... Stop it. You look like you got a hair in your mouth. I remember that line forever. I remember when I saw it in the movies, and I remember to this day. I think it's one of the funniest lines I've ever heard.
Well, that was Michael Keaton. He said that to him, and then Joe. And that line for me, the line for me that made you feel that way, was when they were fighting in the lawyer's office, and then Henry Winkler, Chuck, he grabs Michael Keaton and he grabs him from behind and starts pulling him up. And he says, Chuck, you can't do this. I'm wearing white.
Because they were fighting. He didn't want to get dirt on his white. Because he's playing tennis.
That's so funny. It's like, I'm wearing white. Like, okay, who cares? I'm still going to kill you. It's great. So, next up is Cocktail, released July 29th, 1988. It was directed by Roger Donaldson and written by Haywood Gould. He was the original author of the novel that led to this film adaptation. So, Brian Flanagan has been discharged from the Army and hopes to gain fame and fortune with his charm and go-getter attitude in New York City. After trying and failing to succeed in corporate business, he finds success as a bartender and the thrill of the chase for money, love, and the next round of drinks. So you had seen this movie. You thought you'd seen the whole movie. And then we watched it and you're like, this is not what I remember. Not really. And I remember when we were going through the list, you said, this is a really entertaining movie. Like, Tom Cruise is really entertaining in this. I'm like, great, yeah, let's check it out.
No. That's not what that's what you remember. No.
That's what I remember.
No. How many times have I told you
that you don't like Tom Cruise?
No. How many times have I said, oh, that's a great movie with Tom Cruise?
A lot.
No. Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, Rain Man. What else? Jerry Maguire. Like, all these movies are great movies with Tom Cruise.
No, I don't. I never say that's a great movie with Tom Cruise. That's hardly ever comes out of my mouth.
Okay, so let's go back to Cocktail.
Okay, and I never said this is a great movie with Tom Cruise. I said it's entertaining to watch them at the bar making cocktails.
It is.
And I said my comforter's in that movie. You can see my comforter in that movie.
Oh, Come From Away. I saw that movie too. I wouldn't say it's a great movie with Tom Cruise. It's a movie with Tom Cruise in it that's Nicole Kidman's trying to star in.
No. I just said we need to watch this movie. I knew this movie was going to go pretty bad, but I wanted to see them making those cocktails because it was really entertaining. I remember that we ate at that place at TGI Fridays when we went to New York. You were just a little kid, and you liked that TGI Fridays, and they carried a bunch of stuff, and they would carry. And I didn't even tell you this when we were watching it. They would carry big plates and plates and plates, and then every time there'd be a bigger plate and a bigger plate and a bigger plate, and they'd carry it like Dr. Seuss type thing, Cat in the Hat stuff, and they'd do all kinds of tricks at that place. It was really entertaining. Anyway.
So the point of it is, this wasn't that good of a movie with Tom Cruise in it.
No.
It's not good.
No, we were like.
So this movie has so many, like, this is an example. It's a bad script. I'm sorry, it's just a bad script.
It's terrible. It is really bad.
It's just it has a lot of plot points that should be at like one point and then it goes to another point instead. It's all flip flopped. Everything is flip flopped with the plot. I don't agree with many of the decisions that they made when it comes to the storytelling aspect. Everything it's just a flop. Now, Tom Cruise is good in it. He's as good as, like, he's like Jerry Maguire, young buck, up-and-coming kid trying to make a name for himself. Like, he's done the role before. This is not his first rodeo here. Elizabeth Shue's also in the movie. I really liked her in it. I thought she was great. We just saw Adventures in Babysitting. She's great in it. Brian Brown plays is he Irish?
Yeah. No, he's Aussie.
Aussie. He's Aussie.
Yeah,
the Aussie bartender that he takes under his wing. And he's good in it, sure.
No, he takes Tom Cruise under his wing.
Yeah, takes Tom Cruise under his wing. That's what I meant. I meant that he takes Tom Cruise under his wing. And it's just not good. The story is just bad, and it goes all over the place with itself. And I could see why Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel really kind of they've really pulled this film apart and said why they didn't like it that much. And I couldn't.
And look how much money it made.
It did really well. It had a $20 million budget.
Because it's about alcohol.
And then it did $171.5 million in the box office.
That's what I'm saying. I said, look how much money it made.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it.
It's about alcohol.
Mm-hmm. So, it's a flop to me. A complete, total flop. I don't know why this movie did as well as it did.
Because it's about alcohol.
And it's just like... But even just... Don't... I don't even say don't watch it drunk, because it's not even entertaining when it's drunk. It's sad. If you watch this while you were drunk, you'd be sad. Because it's a pretty sad movie near the end of the day.
It's terrible.
It's just not good.
The ending is terrible. Everything's terrible.
Yep. So don't see it. What would you give it out of 5 stars, Mom?
I had said 2, but now I'm thinking 1.5. The only reason I would give it a 2 is because of the comforter. My comforter's in it.
Okay, we can't do it on a comforter scale here. On a comfort scale of 1 to 5, what would you give it? I give it a 2. It's got some bare bone ideas that would work, but it just needs a lot of TLC, and the actors couldn't save it. God, as try as they might, they couldn't
I'm
save it.
just in the middle about that TGI Fridays that we've actually eaten at. It's that same one that we ate at, and they did all kinds of trick things in that TGI Fridays years back in the day when we went.
All right, move on to the last movie that we saw this week.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh my gosh.
It was released July 29th, 2011. It was directed by Glenn Ficarra and John Recua. I hope I said that right. They co-directed I Love You, Philip Morris. And it was written by Dan Fogelman, who also wrote Fred Claus and Tangled. The love lives of several families and friends and how they're brought together are chronicled in this story about modern life and
Ironically,
dating.
I would say brought together.
Okay. Ironically brought together. Yep. In this story about modern life and dating. It was starring Steve Carell, Julianne Moore, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, Kevin Bacon, and Marissa Tomei. So this is a great movie. This is my first time seeing it, and I didn't know what to expect out of it.
It's another sleeper.
It is another sleeper. You don't expect it to be as good as it did, even though I remember it being marketed quite a bit. It had a $50 million budget, made $145 million at the box office, so it did very well. Great cast of characters. It's very funny. It's just, and I like how realistic it is. It's very realistic with some of the reactions that they take, because it starts off with Steve Carell and Julianne Moore having dinner, and Julianne, like, he's asking her, hey, what do you want for dessert? And she said, I want a divorce. Whoa, that's a bad way to go. And then on the car ride home, the way he reacts to it is very much like a comatose state because he's processing everything. It's very realistic. I like it a lot. And then after the divorce, or actually they're still only separated for the movie, they're in the midst of getting this divorce now. And he ends up meeting Ryan Gosling, who's a real womanizer at this local bar that they've happened to go at the same time. And he ends up saying, like, I'll hit you. I'm going to hit you. Like, just like the movie Hitch, where it's like, I'm going to teach you how to be a ladies' man, that sort of thing. And that's exactly what happens, where he starts ladies' manning this man. And there's other things that go on in the movie, too, about love and relationships. I don't want to spoil it, but you got it. I definitely recommend this movie. Highly recommend it. It's super funny. It's very sweet. It's very realistic. Even the ending, as crazy as it is, it's realistic because these things can happen.
It blows up.
It blows up in the best way.
At the end, everything blows up at the very end. Shockingly. Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious, though.
It is. It does a good job of parodying how people feel in real life about relationships and love, especially with the kids. And my only criticism is that they don't write the kids very well. The kids aren't written that great, in my opinion.
There's some stuff that a teenage boy would never do.
And never admit. It's very cringy. It's also really creepy. I was creeped out by a lot of the kid scenes. But at the end of the day, some of it does really work. And like the scenarios made me really laugh because of what kind of leads to and everything. Ryan Gosling is fantastic in this. He's really great.
And I think that they got the chemistry between Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, and then they made La La Land.
Yes, absolutely.
And they show that chemistry in this little movie, and then they said, oh my gosh. And then they got them together to sing together and stuff, and made that great film. This was the beginning of their chemistry.
Absolutely. Yep, that's exactly where they found it. And Julianne Moore, I was telling you after we saw the movie that Julianne Moore is a good actress, but I never really found her great. And I really liked her in this. I really, really liked her in this. I thought she was excellent in this film.
Well, everyone's really excellent in this film. But it goes back to the directing.
Mm-hmm. My only other real criticism, actually, I just remembered it now, is that I told this to you, is that I felt like they were rehashing the same storyline that we've heard 1,000 times before. Steve Carell is playing the wimpy man from 40-Year-Old Virgin. He's playing Michael Scott as like a not womanizing man. Like, he's just the opposite of a womanizer. He plays the same old wimpy, silly, awkward middle-aged man. Like, we've all seen this 100 times before with Steve Carell. But it works in this case, though, because Ryan Gosling really helps keep the balance right, and because they're using the plot of Hitch to work, and it really works well with it. And then, when the film, as it progresses, when it gets more into the major twist at the end, that's where it really comes together. It really finalizes and does something unique. And it's something I like. I don't really like the title that much, Crazy Stupid Love. I kind of get it, but I feel like there could have been a better title. But I'm not picky about that. I'm just saying this is how I feel about the title. But I love this movie.
I think they did that title so people go see it with their dates.
Yeah, it's absolutely a first date movie.
They did it so people go, what do you want to go see? I don't know, what do you want to go, are you going to go see? And then they mentioned some kind of big blockbuster, and then the date would say, Crazy Stupid Love's out. Let's go see that.
Okay.
And that's why it made all that money.
I would have loved to have seen this movie in theaters only to watch the reactions of people. Because, you heard me react for some of this stuff. And I could not keep quiet about my reactions. Seeing this stuff in the movie theater would have been great. I bet. So, this was your second time seeing this movie, I think?
Second time.
So the first time you saw it in a movie...
No, I didn't see it on TV.
You saw it on TV, didn't you?
I saw it on TV.
I remember you seeing it on TV.
And I was blown away. I was like, I didn't expect anything from it. So my expectations was nothing.
Mm-hmm. No, it's really great. I highly recommend seeing it. I would give it... I would give it 4 stars. Mm-hmm. I really do think that,
I'd give between 3.5 and 4.
I'd give it a 4. I was going to give it a 3.5 at first, but
I'm torn. There's a couple things I'm not happy about. I don't like the thing about the teenager shit. Mm-hmm. Shoot stuff.
Yeah, good save. Very good for the kids. So yeah, I would give it 4. I was going to give it a 3.5, but you know what? I really did have a good time watching it. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. So I really had a good time watching it. So, is there anything you wanted to say about this film or the other ones that we talked about this week?
I enjoyed all of them except for that terrible
cocktail. So, absolutely.
But it does remind me of, good times I had in New York.
It's very, like you said, the cocktail parts when they're making the drinks and stuff is very entertaining.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, he tries to make this movie good. He really does try, and I give him a lot of credit for trying on this one.
And there's some beautiful cinematography.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gorgeous.
But you're not watching cinematographer.
No.
But I was looking for my comforter.
Yes, you found your comforter. Thank you all so much for listening this week. Next week
was Lacey.
Next week we have some great ones coming up too. So thanks again so much for listening. You can also listen to us on YouTube now as well. So give a chance to take a listen on YouTube in case that's easier for you too. But with that in mind, thank you all so much. And you have a great, wonderful evening.